Welcome to Trail Talk California. This is Trail Talk Nick. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks for tuning us in. Today's talk: why are narcissists hyper insecure? Hey, if you like the content, smash the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. So, why are narcissists hyper insecure? A lot of that insecurity is really where their disorder comes from, and that fear and that insecurity is a big part of their psychology. And, they deal with it constantly, actually. It's one of the big mechanisms working in their psychological thinking process is just this process of fear. So, we all have fear, and honestly, it's probably a good idea to be scared of certain things, obviously. And the narcissist has fear as well. And fear can be healthy. Maybe you don't want to catch a disease and you're scared of it. Maybe you don't want to say the wrong thing to offend the wrong person, and so you bite your tongue. And fear can be good. It can be a good kind of guardrail, in my opinion. I've heard certain philosophies describe it like that. So, where does a natural good fear for the narcissist elevate into becoming hyper insecurity and just malefic in their mind and then create this personality disorder? Why are they so scared, you know? Well, I've actually wondered about this, because I've noticed one of the key elements in dealing with with these people is somewhere they are coming across to me that they're very kind of worried about like the next shoe to fall, to drop, the ground to come out from underneath them. Kind of, or like they're living in the earthquake area or the tornado alley, kind of. And let's face it. Nowadays, California is pretty rough. Look at the news. So I understand some need for a bit of security and hyper insecurity to a certain extent. But this whole psychology where it creates this disorder, that's a different. That's a different. It's a different mechanism altogether, in my opinion. And so, this manifestation of the personality disorder and this hyper insecurity of narcissism obviously is built by this idea of being very superior and this very big feeling of superiority, this sense of entitlement, and they also, they're like very controlling people, and so if people who want to control also become very scared because that's like a fear and control kind of go hand in hand, and so I'm trying to understand. I think that they are very, in fact, insecure, hyper insecure, based off of the fact that they can't adequate these illusions of grandeur, or these delusions of grandeur, into actual reality. And I think that's really one of the big reasons they become insecure, hyper insecure. I think anyone who pokes around at that little bubble of this feeling of being on top of the world is an enemy to the narcissist. And that's why a lot of these narcissists do stuff like the gang stalking or whatever, these kind of ultra weird kind of fear based things, you know. So they're overly insecure based off of the fact that they can't really pull together and hold together the image of themselves that they would like to hold and for people to perceive of them. And so also I wanted to get into this, and it's why are narcissists always acting and kind of doing theater almost? And I've noticed that like they like to act, and they like to act around people who are receiving that acting. And this is because they're people who like to believe lies, narcissists. And they need to believe lies and gaslight the truth, actually, again, for this feeling of being superior and grandiose. And I think this also comes into the lording it over and controlling it thing, to where the acting at least will secure the feeling of that they are in control and on top and so on and so forth. You know, even if they aren't, they can go to bed at night feeling assured now, you know, based off of a couple of acting sequences, you know. And so they're very hyper insecure based off of the superiority complex. They're acting a lot. I just went through a scenario where this narcissist person was kind of doing this acting thing. And it's all based off of this thing to where we both know that they're pretending, and it's almost like a little kid, or I guess I'm almost like the adult sometimes with these people, because it's I mean, it's just so see-through, some of this stuff. And but I guess, you know, like I was saying in the video, they just like to believe lies. They're constantly, like Narc Survivor says, trying to validate an illusion. So that is the actor's job, isn't it? A thespian is supposed to validate an illusion. It's supposed to make something that is fake become very, very real. That everybody believes it. Millions of people believe it, you know, and appreciate the lie, you know, the presentation of the lie. So narcissists can get into that. Obviously, there's a lot of narcissists in Hollywood. Not all of Hollywood, I'm sure, is narcissist. I like a lot of actors. I think they're very professional, and it is an art. So, but sure, there's going to be the narcissist actor, and so they're acting to again put a band-aid on that insecurity and this hyper insecurity, hyper fear. So scared of not being what they haven't pictured themselves to be. The narcissist wants to keep this standard up too. You know, they're very iconoclast in the idea of not necessarily just being in vogue and in the standard, but they're the one coming up, not you. And they're constantly worried about falling behind of the standards and, you know, how people see them and all that. And that's creating that hyper insecurity, all based off of this, you know, inflated sense of self and ego that they have, and they have to keep up. So narcissists like to act, they like to pretend, they're constantly pretending they are beyond their eligibilities and actual qualifications. That's just how they roll. So I believe that was my friend the Scrub Jay. Him and his other friend were over here, and I think I'm like in their turf. They're probably hunting here or something. So I'm gonna get out of here. Let these guys have their Or maybe they were asking me for food. I don't know. But you don't want to mess with the scrub jays, especially in their natural habitat. So I'm going to get out of here. This has been Trail Talk Nick. You're watching Trail Talk California. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. If you want to donate, it's in the description. PayPal or Cash App. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate you tuning us in. Until next time, Trail Talk California. Thank you very much.